Welcome to the Community Collective podcast. I'm Johnny B. Good, the flip-flop agent, and I've partnered with the Davison Area Chamber of Commerce to bring you the stories that shape our local communities. In our third season, our focus is about connecting, learning, and celebrating the voices that make our communities unique. Join us during this third season as we engage in thoughtful conversations and insightful moments. This podcast is commercial-free and supported by both myself, my co-host, and our guests. We would be so appreciative if you could like, share, and subscribe as we continue having conversations that matter, and cannot thank you enough for taking the time to listen. Welcome back to another episode of the Community Collective podcast. I am Johnny B. Good, the flip-flop agent, located right here in my beautiful adopted hometown of Davison, Michigan. And I mean, Travis, we're rolling two in a row, my guy. We actually have both of us on the podcast today. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, and, it's like we're best friends again now that we've done, 2 of these in a row. But
Telling
yeah,
you.
it's we're getting our cadence back, we're getting in the groove of it all again, and before you know it, we'll be professionals all the time.
Well, I don't know about all the time, but maybe every now and again when we have the chance.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this one is, you may not know it, but this is the second time we're talking to Brad Bell because we messed up and lost a recording. So Brad has been gracious enough to join us a second time. So Brad, welcome to the Community Collective. How are you doing today, my friend?
Good, yeah, I hear second time's a charm, so let's see if we got that charm today.
Let's absolutely not make it a third. Let's roll out and just kill it with number two. So everything going good?
Yeah, man, can't complain. The sun's shining. Starting to really like this weather outside is better than the last time we talked, at least,
Oh,
So
isn't that the truth?
yeah, maybe it'll shine upon this podcast and it'll be even better than the last one. I'm confident in that.
There you go. Always getting better, always improving, right?
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, hey, let's jump right into it. So, knowing that you grew up in Davison, I know that my wife went to school with you, having graduated around the turn of the century, things like that, you know, touring globally as a musician with Chiodos, and then bringing it all back full circle and coming back to your hometown. How do you think like your diverse experiences that you've lived in these short amount of years have shaped your approach to serving our local community here in Davison?
Yeah, so yeah, graduated in 2001 and we actually hit the road, I think starting in 2003. So it was shortly after. And, all in all, did it for about 12 years of traveling. And, there was a lot of diversity and adversity that came along with it. We traveled all over the world and saw a lot of different countries, a lot of cool things, and I definitely encouraged that. But, people have asked similar questions in the past and I was asked, "Is the grass greener?" I mean, it is what the grass is what you make of it, really. I moved away to St. Louis for a couple of years even, and at some point there's this weird like magnetism that brings you back to your hometown, back to your roots. That for me personally, it just can't beat. It's just, there's just some sort of comfort to it, and I know like getting out of your comfort zone is often the best way to thrive in life, but you can do that in your own town too. So I feel like traveling for all those years and coming back here just all made sense. It all became full circle. It was time to settle down and fall in love and create a family and start a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, how true is that, everybody always looks at other people's life situations or the things that they've accomplished in life. And it is that grass may always appear to be greener at times, but when it's all said and done, the experiences that we live each and every day is a collective of what we exist inside of. And I think that's very telling is that you were able to go and do things that a lot of people dream of doing, traveling, successful music career, just doing all this stuff. And yet probably the most contentment you found has been being right back here in Davison. Does that sound like that's a reasonable approach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't change, any decisions that we made through the years to do all of that and experience those things. But what like you're saying, the most thing I'm most proud and content with and happiest is where I'm at now.
I love it. I love it. So transitioning from a global career in music, touring, performing, all of that, to running an independent insurance office is a pretty tremendous shift. What inspired that change, and how have your experiences as a musician influenced your business practices?
Well, being in a music group and trying to run it successfully is a lot like running any other business. You really have to work on the marketing and networking. They always say it's about being at the right place at the right time, and it's who you know. I mean, that's true in all fields of business. It really is. And it's just the way that things, line up that can lead you to your next step a lot of the time. And so a lot of lessons were learned through that, how to work with others and how to maintain relationships of other people that you're working with in order to keep the boat rowing, and just there's a lot more in common than it would seem on paper. Insurance and rock and roll. I guess, I could be the rock and roll insurance agent here, but the biggest thing I would say that has in common though is absolutely like, especially with today's day and age, understanding marketing, understanding how many people you have to talk to, how to use social media and get the word out and spread it as much as you can in the smartest ways possible too, not just doing what everybody else is doing, but going and thinking outside of the box and making sure you can make yourself stand out is a key in making sure that you have success in any business.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I think that really harkens back to me being in a similar industry as far as real estate. You know, you
Absolutely.
can't you can't throw a rock without hitting a real estate agent, much along the same lines as far as like throwing a rock and hitting an insurance agent. So
And
coming
musician. So I mean, that was the thing, coming from Davison, small town around here, how are we gonna stand out, And we just started building a following that would follow us from show to show across the state, and eventually that led to across the country. And then we kind of, manipulated some online sites to get more exposure than we should have, and boom, it was all over the place. So, you just kinda have to find those ways to gravitate people towards what you are doing. And like you're saying, it's relatable in all industries. And the main thing is you just got to stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, without a doubt, you guys have done a tremendous job of that. And I love seeing what you guys are being able to do here in Davison as well. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. It was really important for me. When I did open an insurance agency, I the person that was helping me open was asking, where do you want to go? And maybe you should go to Goodrich. There's not many insurance agents down there, or find another place. And I said, no, there's a strong market here in Davison. That's the community I grew up in, community that I love, and that I want to keep working in, and I want to live in the place where I'm going to operate this business.
Well, yeah, and Brad, I love noticing how much a that you love our community and the impact that you're using your business to have here. And I think that's important for anyone to realize too, is that not only are you a Davison guy, but you decided to come back here and start a family, but now you are giving back to the community that plays such a big part in who you are today. So one thing I think a lot of people already know, but probably need to be aware of too, is your insurance agency emphasizes educating and serving the Davison community and beyond. Can you share a little bit more about your business philosophy and maybe how you guys as your team aim to impact the community through your services you offer?
Yeah, I mean, you do bring up educating, and that's always been a big part of my family's roots, and have been installed in me. Is I come from a family of teachers. Both my parents are teachers, both my brothers are teachers. My dad was a teacher in Davison. My brother's a teacher in Davison. I actually went to college to become a music teacher at first before I started touring, and so it is a practice, that I feel like is important, is making sure people understand exactly what it is that they're purchasing, and you're not just trying to make a dime. You want to give value, and people appreciate that, when especially when that's what they're looking for, is to have somebody who knows what they're talking about and can put it in understandable terms for them. And when we train people here, I'll make sure that they understand exactly what it is that they're portraying to people as well. And I feel like our clients really see the benefit in having an agent instead of just going online and buying a policy off of Geico or Progressive that they have no clue what it is, and then they bring it to me. I'm like, I want to leave my driveway with that coverage that you currently has. So I think it's important, especially like we sell all lines of business here, from commercial to health insurance, Medicare, life insurance, and just being able to educate the community. Like, for example, Medicare is one of the most like complex things. It's always changing. It's taking huge changes now. And, once a year I try to have like a, a, a short little like 101 for Medicare that I can put on for a community, and just making sure that these people aren't feeling taken advantage of, and can actually understand what it is that they're gonna move forward with. I feel like it's very important, especially when you're spending money on something, you want to make sure that it does have the best value for it. But yeah, so that's something that all of us here are trying to do. And for example, like Audrey that works here, she's also the president of a networking group that focuses on educating other businesses on what it is that they do. So we all find a lot of value in making sure that we can educate.
Yeah, well, and I think that one of the advantages of you being here, and you mentioned, people going online and getting things, is that with you, they can walk in your office. They can actually physically talk to someone who can help them with their questions. And I feel like even at my age, that I still have questions that I'm learning, and I feel like individuals that are, more experienced need to come in and ask questions, or they're going to see you at the grocery store, or at a sporting event, and they might want to catch up, but if they can trust that if they ask you a question there, that you're going to be honest with them. And I think that's such a positive thing that a lot of people maybe don't realize, is that have that local insurance agent, and they're a part of your community too. And so that trust is built. And I think that makes it also fun for them, because now they can say, hey, you know, Brad Bell was the guy that helped me. And they can reference you and say, hey, he's my neighbor. And I think that's important. And then you mentioned your team. And no, it's not just you out there in the community. You have, yeah, Audrey out there, really being engaged as well. And I think that is something that just shows that you're committed to our community, and just making sure people are educated and get a chance just to learn about what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed that.
And so, one of the things I'm sure that you're faced with, like any business owner, is there's always going to be challenges. But I would think starting and managing an independent insurance office comes with its own set of challenges and rewards. Can you, Brad, can you kind of discuss maybe some of the hurdles that you've had to overcome, and what do you find most rewarding about the work that you do?
Yeah, like I said, we do a lot of different lines of work here, so it is challenging in itself to keep it all straight. But after 9 years in the industry, I think I have a pretty good grip on it. Sorry, I just had to kind of calculate that in my head. No, but yeah, when I first got into it, I was, healthcare and life insurance only, and then I saw a need for everybody needing, home and auto insurance, and moved on to there and just kept adding things to our portfolio. So I started out as a captive agent with Farmers Insurance, and at some point, as I was working with that, I realized I want to be able to help people in any situation that they bring to me, not just what fits this one appetite. So that's why I branched out and wanted to take on more as much as I could. And we had the 2020 auto insurance reform coming up, and I figured, that would be a perfect time to make this transition. So as I started gearing up for that, all of a sudden the world shuts down, COVID hits, and I'm in quarantine trying to figure out how I'm going to open this independent insurance agency. So that was, one of the biggest challenges I faced. But at the same time, it kind of helped me to, sit back and view everything with a wide perspective from my basement and my computer. But we made it through. it all lined up, and it was a good time to get the training I needed to attack this correctly. So, yeah, but there's always challenges, especially in this industry. Every day there's a challenge. Each phone call is a challenge for me at this point, honestly, with all this inflation and claims that have been happening. I mean, yeah, we last year we had the great hailstorm of 2023, or not so, let's call it the not so great hailstorm of 2023 that flipped this town upside down. I mean, you get people arguing online over it, what to do next, and it's just been a complete mess. But I don't always have the best answers my clients want, but at least I'm a phone call away for them, and that was a huge learning process for us all. But it it's helped, build trust and relationships with our customers, and really show even more importance on what it is that we do here. But I'd say that was probably the hardest thing that's impacted our agency over the years, and we're still dealing with it every day. I'm still checking in on some claims, and still receiving some calls about it, and dealing with adjusters and contractors and all of it. But we're working our way through, and I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel here, and it's 2024, and this summer is going to be beautiful with no storms at all.
I
Uh,
like that positive attitude, and I can only imagine for you and kind of anyone in that industry is there's always something new and something changing, and some of it's pretty drastic. So I'm sure that's a big challenge right there. Is just that continuing education, staying up to date on the most recent information that you need to be certified on to offer people as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, this industry is always changing, so it keeps us on our toes, and keeps it interesting at least. But not a boring day here.
Yeah. So, Brad, a lot of what you guys do has to be planning for the future, whether it's continuing education or I'm sure continuing to build those customer relationships and being involved in the community. Looking ahead, how do you plan to continue to be engaged and contribute to the Davison community through your business and then your personal ventures?
Yeah, I think it's important to stay involved with the community. It's all the networking groups that go on here are great for supporting each other. Just the different activities that go on. For years I was involved with the DDA and helping with the parade, and just reaching out and trying to bring the community together in as many ways as we can is awesome. And then with that in particular, I had to step down because, we had 2 kids. That was a big part of coming home, getting domesticated, was, having children. So now I got 2 young ones, and they didn't take up a lot of my time, but I'm looking forward to what the future that they can bring, and getting me, more involved back into the community again too, with their schooling and their sports that they're gonna be involved with, and just different chances to volunteer and sponsor things, around the community. Definitely not gonna be shy with that. So, and it the possibilities are endless. I like what the chamber's constantly doing, what Johnny's doing, putting together this flip-flop race and all the different things that you guys are doing to engage with the community in this podcast. I feel like you guys think outside the box. I like to think outside the box, and there's a lot that we can all look forward to together here.
And I love that too. I think, Brad, you see that picture of it's the community and finding ways that we can be brought together in positive ways. And I completely agree. The having kids, you start learning about brand new ways to be involved in schools and the community, and they're always looking for volunteers for field day. Or I think last night we went to my son's art night at his school, and it's that excitement you see that these teachers are engaging with our kids, and then that gets you in the school too to learn and to see what's going on. But then I know we appreciate all that you do as being a member of the community, supporting the chamber, getting your team out in the community to
Well, hold on,
participate.
hold on, Travis. I'm going rogue. You
Oh
ready? I'm
no.
I'm I'm going rogue.
Oh, uh-oh.
So I've come up with a question that I want to ask all of our guests before we conclude the interview. And just to get a feel for a little bit more of a personality aspect and what people want to do and what they love about the community. But Brad, if you were to win the lottery and it was $1 billion plus, what is the first thing you would want to bring or do in our local community that would allow everybody to be able to use said feature, option, thing, whatever that might be? Is there something that you feel that Davison's truly missing that the community would really gravitate towards? And so with unlimited funding, what would you want to buy or purchase or build in the community for everyone to use?
Ooh, that's a great question. Pressure's on you now, Brad.
It isn't, and I mean, I guess my mental gears have kind of changed over the past few years, and my focus has kind of been on, kids now. So
Sure.
and I think I've seen you talk about it online with other people as well, but I've got a couple buddies that have brought it up, but a big sports complex would be awesome here.
Yes.
Just find the right
Oh,
property for that and draw other people to Davison, make this be like, a local center like that's known to the city for raising kids and the right atmosphere, keeping them off the video games in the basement and getting them out and actually, staying active and productive. But before that, like my old mindset was always I wanted to start school rock here, like a place like that could sell some gear and get kids their own
oh,
private lessons and um a lot of these places are doing these lessons and then having them have lessons together as like a band, like the was it Third Degree Burns out in Lapeer
Yeah.
and other organizations around that are doing some really cool things with kids and music as well. So I guess that my answer would be combining both of those.
Well,
man.
and if you did win the lottery and it was $1 billion plus, you could absolutely do that.
Yeah, I am gonna win. So when I do, I will do that.
That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I'm ready and willing to help however I can.
All right, sounds good.
I love this. I think that's such great ideas. I'll sign up for that. And I don't have musical talent, but I would love to see something like that offered to so many kids here. And of course, sports facility, that's for adults and kids. So, oh, I like this idea. Good question.
Yeah, well, and Travis, we could get our out of shape dad bods, back over to the soccer fields and start playing a little bit more.
Oh, as long as I can wear my glasses and can see what's going on.
Yeah, I hear the ladies really like the dad bods, our wives in particular.
That's
That's
right.
that's all I have to work with these days. So it is what it is. Take it or leave it, woman.
Definitely,
Well,
and I do want to say one thing too. A lot of this, the whole transition from musician to insurance to going independent, it does take support around. It takes your family, it takes your wife, takes it all. So I was very fortunate to have the backing of my wife and helping me make all these decisions too through it all, and I definitely appreciate that. And like the whole theme of it's been, I remember where your roots are from, and you gotta, you know, appreciate all that's around you.
no, absolutely. Well, and the beautiful thing about it is, it's a team effort, and that team is your family, whether it's extended through the office or yeah, your actual familial family. And, having that backing goes a long way. Nobody wants to go on that journey of entrepreneurship alone. And I have a lot of respect for the work that you've done, both as a musician, as an insurance agent, coming back and making it happen, man.
Absolutely, thank you, appreciate it. You guys too. I'm always impressed with what you guys are doing, the way you've been turning a lot of things around here and turning heads. It's been great.
Well, good. Well, Brad, thank you so much for joining us. I know I always enjoy getting the opportunity to catch up with you, and so we're just excited to kind of share with people what you're doing and what you're getting involved in. And so, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely, it was a blast.
Hey, keep up the good work, Brad. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, see you guys later.